What's going on, everyone? Raider here. Hope you're all doing great and having an amazing day. And today's video is all about the upcoming Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. So we're going to see the Z Fold 6 get announced during the next Samsung Unpacked event scheduled for July 10th in Paris, France. So we're looking at just over a month away. And all of the details and leaks that we've got so far have been very confusing, but let's go ahead and go through them. So first things first, it is confirmed we are getting a wider aspect ratio this year. This is great news as we take a look at this image from Ice Universe. You'll see now that the corners are squared off, much like the S24 Ultra. So they're kind of taking a shift in the styling choice, or the stylistic choice, I should say, for the Z Fold 6. We're going to have square corners, 2.8 millimeters wider, which just happens to be very similar to what we had going from the Z Fold 3 to the Z Fold 4. As you take a look at this image here, the 4 is on the left, the 3 is on the right. Now, I personally experienced this upgrade going from the 3 to the 4, and it was pretty nice. Nearly 3 millimeters difference, pretty much the same that we're going to see going from the 5 to the 6. You know, is this a big change we've all been waiting for? No, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I think it's a good compromise. I think if you get too wide, it really changes the form factor and you lose that one-handed ability that you have. So we're going to retain that while just getting a little bit wider, which should help with the texting experience. You know, typing on these narrow cover screens is quite the experience. So I'm hoping for a little bit of improvement in that area. The next thing we know for sure is that the Z Fold 6 will feature the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 globally. This will be released everywhere, just like we saw with the S24 Ultra. However, we do have one thing that is really weird, and this one has me stumbled a bit. It is confirmed that the Z Fold 6 will not be supporting Wi-Fi 7. I don't know what to make of this, considering it has the same specs as the S24 Ultra goes, as far as the chipset goes. And they could be holding out for the Ultra model that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But as it stands, the regular Z Fold 6 that we're going to see on July 10th won't have Wi-Fi 7. So as we take a look at the camera bump, you're going to notice we don't have much of a change, and that's because there's not much of a change happening. We're still going to see the same 50 megapixel main shooter, the 12 megapixel ultra wide, and the same 10 megapixel telephoto. However, the Ultra model that I keep hitting at may end up getting a 200 megapixel camera. Now let's talk about the price. Now, many reports are saying that it's going to be the same as last year's Z Fold 5, which would put it at a starting price of $17.99 for the 12 gigabyte, 256 gigabytes of storage model. But latest reports are showing that it's likely we're going to see a $100 price hike for the upcoming Z Fold 6. So the base model would then come in at $1,899 for the 12 gigabyte model, 256 gigabytes storage. Storage and RAM configurations are not expected to change for the Z Fold 6. So it's really unfortunate that we're not getting too much in lieu of new features. However, we're getting a $100 price hike. I really hope that this rumor is nothing more than just a rumor. So as far as the S Pen getting siloed, most reports that I'm seeing are showing the same thing as previous years. No mention of it being siloed at all, which is very unfortunate. We keep asking for this. I don't know why Samsung just won't bite the bullet and give us a model that does support the S Pen being siloed. Perhaps it puts too many constraints on the battery capacity. I'm not really sure, but unfortunately, it's expected to not be siloed again this year as well. You can expect it to ship with Android 14, One UI 6.1, and keep in mind that One UI 7 is in the works now. The beta is getting ready for S24 users right now as we speak, so it won't be too long before the Z Fold 6 ends up with One UI 7. Keep in mind that since it's a new release, as of the S24 Ultra on, all new devices that are flagships like the Z Fold 6 will have 7 OS updates and 7 years of security updates. We may see a bump in brightness on the inner screen up to 2600 nits, similar to the S24 Ultra, but it's unclear yet as to whether or not we're going to see the new anti-reflective coating. I sure hope we do, and I sure hope we get less of a crease, but from all the images that I'm seeing, I'm not really seeing a difference in the crease at all, so I'm keeping my expectations pretty low in that department. So let's wrap this up by talking about another model that we're likely to see later this year, although some reports are saying it's going to drop during the Unpacked event, which I can tell you that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. So what's going to happen is later this year, we are going to see the introduction of a new Z Fold 6 variant, and the name is either going to be the Z Fold 6 Ultra, the Z Fold 6 Slim, or the Slim Pro. Samsung has yet to decide on the final naming, but nonetheless, it's supposed to be very similar to the upcoming Z Fold 6 except it's not going to have a digitizer layer at all, which means no S Pen support whatsoever. But in contrast, by not having that layer, they're going to be able to make the device a little bit thinner. So it's apparently going to be a little bit bigger as far as the aspect ratio, a little bit thinner, no S Pen support. I personally don't think they should call that the Ultra if that's going to be the case, because we're losing some key functionality by losing the S Pen support. And also, according to the latest rumors, the price is going to be the same. So instead of it being an Ultra or a Slim Pro, it sounds like it's just going to be another variant, another offering that's going to strip some features and kind of change the display ratio. So what's my take on the upcoming Z Fold 6? Personally, to be 100% transparent about it, since I've been using the Z Fold since the 3 and the 4 and the 5, I'm not really too excited. All we're getting is a little bit wider screen, no changes to the camera, a little bit brighter screen. From what I hear, there's not going to be any changes to the audio as well. Forgot to mention that. I mean, basically, it's pretty much the same hardware with a new chipset and a little bit wider screen. You know, and I feel like there's got to be something that I'm missing, but the thing is I keep saying that every year. And every year it's the same thing. We're getting very minimal updates, and you know, we'll kind of wrap this video up by saying right now, as of right now, Samsung is no longer the #1 manufacturer of foldable devices in the world. They lost the #1 spot globally, and that's because other manufacturers keep redefining what the foldable experience is, while Samsung is basically, for a lack of better words, they're kind of sitting still. You know, they're not really doing too much with this. They're thinking they're banking on this being what people want to land on over the long run, but people's pockets are speaking differently. A lot of people outside of the US, because keep in mind, in the US, we don't get a lot of these offerings, but outside of the US, Samsung is starting to get owned by other companies. So I really feel like it's time to come out with something that's quite a bit different. They really need to make a big splash in this pond, because every year it's just been the same thing. I'm not too excited. I think it's going to be a great device. I do welcome the extra width. We need it. A little bit wider than this would be fantastic. So that part's going to be great. But the same cameras 3 years in a row now, I don't know. That leaves a real bad taste in my mouth. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 6? It'll be an exciting Unpacked event. We'll have the Watch 7, Watch 7 Classic, Watch 7 Ultra, the Flip 6, the Fold 6. We're also going to see the Galaxy Ring. It should be an exciting Unpacked event, but as far as the Fold 6 goes, I'm not too excited, especially knowing we might have another variant out there later this year. Do I wait for that, knowing that it might come out only in South Korea? You know, we see the latest certification. It shows the battery certification happening in India. So we're getting a lot of weird details on the Ultra. And as a content creator, it's like, wow, do I end up having to buy both of them? But as it stands right now, not too excited about the Fold 6, but hopefully there's some more surprises in store that we just don't know about yet. So just a little over a month away, Z Fold 6. If you have any questions or comments about today's video, please drop it down in the comments section below. Really do appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.